an early death, and it was his last point. Who hath not seen of amid thy store? Sometimes whoever seeks abroad may find thee sitting careless on a granary floor. Thy hairs soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or on a half-reaped furrow, sound asleep, drowsed with the fume of poppies, while thy hook spares the next war and all its twined flowers. And sometimes, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook or by a cider press. With patient look, thou watches the last oozings hours by hours. In this particular stanza, the poet has personified autumn, and he describes the various activities, various occupations that take place during autumn season. And almost all of these occupations are related with harvesting. And the poet has personified autumn in the form of a deity, divine goddess, or we can say a lady, who hath not seen thee oft amid thy store. The poet presents as if people were searching, or people were looking for autumn, and where they find her. Who hath not seen? Hath is an old English word for has. Who hath not seen thee oft? Oft is for often. Amidst thy your store. Store is granary, grain store. The people who are in search for autumn here and there, they would find autumn sitting in a careless manner in her grain store. Sometimes whoever seeks, again we see alliteration on the sound s, seeks abroad may find thee. Thee means you, autumn, sitting careless on a granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind. The autumn is sitting carelessly on a floor, and her hair are lifted by the wind. And what the poet actually wants to point about is the main activity that takes place during autumn is that of winnowing. Winnowing is a process where the husk of grain is separated, and here the husk is compared to the hair of the autumn. Thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind. Winnowing wind is also an instance of use of alliteration. Or on a half-reaped furrow, sound asleep, drowsed with the fume of poppies. Or the picture which poet presents before us is quite common. Whenever we pass through a field, we'll find some peasants sleeping there because they have, after working hard, they felt asleep and they slept there only. Or on a half-reaped furrow. Furrow is a deep imprint or mark which is made when you cut something, or when half-reaped furrow, which is due to the reaping of the crop. Or on a half-reaped furrow, sound asleep. One who is searching for autumn may find her sleeping near her work, and she got asleep because she got intoxicated with the profound smell of poppy. Poppy is opium. Drowsed with the fume of poppies, while thy hook is sit, spares the next swath and all its twined flower. She got so much intoxicated with the smell of the poppies that she was not able to cut that portion which was in her hand ready to be cut. So the next role of autumn can be seen as a reaper. This activity of reaping the harvest also takes place during autumn. And sometimes, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook. The next role which the poet sees autumn into is that of a gleaner. Gleaner is one who collects the grain, or we can say stubbles, from the plains after the crop is cut. And this picture is also very common, which we find people going towards their home after harvesting, keeping their head is overburdened by the sticks which they carry on their head. Steady, steady, straight, thy laden head. Laden is burdened head. Across a brook. Brook is when she is crossing a small river. And sometimes like a gleaner, thou is you. Dust keep, dust is does. Keep steady. In a very balancing manner, she crosses the river when she goes with burden on her head towards her home. Or by a cider press, with patient look, thou watchest the last oozings hours by hours. Or by a cider press, just as the poet has explained in the earlier stanza, that it is the season when there are very many apples on the trees. So cider press is the machine from which juice is with which juice is extracted. One can find autumn sitting by a cider press and watching in a patient manner even the last drop dripping from the cider presser. Thus, the poet has described 4 activities which takes place during autumn season, that is of winnowing, role of autumn as winnower, harvester or reaper, gleaner, and a cider presser or looker. And here also we can say the poet has presented the sensuous description when he talks about the fumes of poppies, that is sensuous. And another thing which we find is imagery. Imagery is imagery of reaper, winnower, gleaner, cider presser. And there is negative capability. Negative capability is objectivity. The poet is not involving his own emotions or his own observer. He is just giving an objective description of autumn or the activities which take place during autumn. And this description of autumn, by personifying it in various ways, it is on the Hellenic style. The poet has used Hellenism here. And in the last stanza, the poet says, these 2 stanzas describe the activities and bounties and beauties of nature, and this particular stanza, the 3rd stanza, is devoted to the sights and sounds. Where are the songs of springs? Hi, where are they? Think not of them. Thou hast thy music too. While barred clouds bloom the soft dying day and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. And in a wailful choir the small nets mourn among the river shallows, borne aloft or sinking as the light wind lives and dies. And full-grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne, has cricket sing, and now with trebles of the red-breast whistles from a garden crop, and gathering swallows twitter in the skies. And in this particular stanza we find alliteration, especially the sound S and L have been repeated again and again. The poet is talking about those people who are missing spring season or the songs of spring in autumn, and the poet tells them not to do that. He says you must not think about spring when we are passing through an autumnal phase, because autumn has got its own music and own beauty. While barred clouds bloom the soft dying day. And here also there is personification. The poet is talking about the day as if it is a human being. And just as a person is dying, the day is dying very softly. And due to the sunset, at the time of sunset, the color of the sky is red, and its reflection falls upon that field from where crop has been cut, and therefore it appears that it is barred. Due to the stubbles which are on the plains, it appears the clouds are barred because the reflection of the ground is on the clouds. While barred clouds bloom the soft dying day. Even the day which is about to end is not deprived of beauty. it is blooming, it is reddish, and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. And due to the reflection of sun, the clouds are looking rose colored, and that rose colored is imparted by clouds to the ground, and that's why the plain where only stubbles are there, it looks rosy. Hue is color. And in a wailful choir, wailful is mournful, choir is chorus, the small gnats mourn. Just as the sun sets and night approaches, we find sound of several insects in the atmosphere, and here there is sound of gnats, but this sound is mournful. And mournful why? Because the day is ending, it is the day's death, and on which the gnats sound is working as the mournful song or as the dirge. And in a wailful choir, the small gnats mourn among the river shallows, borne aloft. Aloft is high or sinking as the light wind lives or dies. And this sound is created by the gnats with the sound of the wind. When the wind raises them in the sky, lift them in the sky, they make a sound, and when the wind dies, they make a sound, they fall on the ground. And this sound is being compared by the poet with the dirge or with the elegy, which is sung by the gnats on the death of the day, and they are singing it in a chorus. And full grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne, and this whole line is covered, this and the previous line, we can say small, wailful, shallows, love, light, lives, full, lamb, loud, bleat, hilly, treble, all the whistle, all these are instances of the use of alliteration. And full grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. Bourne is bounded from hilly areas. As the night is approaching, sun had set, and when the sun sets, there is silence all over, and in this silence we are able to hear the sound of the lambs from the hilly area. Has cricket sing. The sound of the has crickets can also be heard, which is regarded as a song. And now with treble soft, treble is 3 times soft, the redbreast whistles from a garden croft. Though it's dark, we are not able to see the redbreast bird, but its whistling light sound can be heard from a garden's corner. And gathering swallows twitter in the sky, and all the swallows gather and they twitter in the sky. The swallows gathering and migrating towards some other field indicates the change of season. Thus, these qualities we find the poet has described the songs of autumn, fruits of autumn, activities of autumn, and the whole stanza, this is we can say, has sensuous description, because the poet talks about the touch, the poet's about the sound, the poet talks about in the whole poem the poet talks about the taste, smell, all these are sensuous description. And I think it was Keats' last ode in his ode sequence, and it is regarded one of the most important, and it gives us a new direction, it gives us a new line of thought to think about autumn. And we will critically analyze the poem in our next video. Okay, thank you.